killing and eating another person in Bridgeport, being granted a conditional release. Tyree Smith killed Angel Gonzalez with an axe in 2011 and ate part of the victim's body. Smith was found not guilty by reason of insanity and sentenced to 60 years in a psychiatric hospital. He was then transitioned to a group home in 2023. Smith's conditional release will happen in phases, beginning with supervised periods of temporary leave in the community.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is a man that was actually arrested for murdering somebody and eating them, and then he was supposed to be in for 60 years for eating and killing somebody in a psychiatric ward. But unfortunately, that's not a thing anymore. Apparently, he was released out for like good behavior or what have you, and this is the result. And now this woman here has to fear for her life because this man was out early, and she doesn't even want this guy to be out. He killed her brother-in-law and ate him. Perhaps in our own society we think, it might be a good idea to maybe keep these insane people in the psychiatric ward or in jail to where they can't harm anybody. But of course, Connecticut thinks otherwise.
Spokesperson.
56-year-old Talitha Frazier of Bridgeport speaking for the immediate family
From the day we left court.
of 35-year-old Angel Gonzalez, her brother-in-law.
We called him Toon Toon. That man was well loved by friends and family. He wasn't just a homeless person. He had people that cared about him. He had friends.
In a horrific killing that made national news, court records showed this man, Tyree Lincoln Smith, killed Gonzalez using an axe, then ate part of his body, here in a building on Brook Street in 2011.
So what we have here is a man that had killed a person and decided to eat him. Yes. Well, the thing is a bit more worse because he decided to eat his eyeball and his brain. So that's one thing. But regardless of the fact that this person ate him, and the Connecticut Psychiatric Security reviews and think, okay, this person after 10 years is perfectly sane and okay to be let out to the public and and be released. This is what is good. Granting him a conditional release and putting him into a home to where, he should be at, right? And of course, this lady is terrified and does not want him to be let out because obviously so. This guy is deranged. He doesn't seem like a great looking guy. And perhaps back in the day, this was, would be considered insanity. So, but of course, we live in a different era now where a lot of people from the left think that it's like we gotta feel sorry for the criminals that are in jail. Well, perhaps, maybe if you were not a criminal, you would not have to be in this situation. Now, I am not advertising to where we go beat criminals half to death or what have you in jail cells or treat them inhumanely, but of course, there are certain criminals that I may give that a pass on, specifically the child grabbers, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, and we live in this society to where, like, we gotta care for the criminals need to be let out, they need to face justice, they don't need to be in jail for so long, and this is where we're at here. And now we have Connecticut, which is a far left and blue state, is now releasing a cannibal killer, by the way, out for a conditional release. And that's just insane to me in every regard. What are we doing here?
He didn't deserve what was done to him. Nobody deserves that.
Smith found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity and committed to a state psychiatric hospital for 60 years.
I let my guard down.
But after only 10 years, he was found to be stable, then released back into the community in 2023, staying at a group home in Waterbury.
They didn't take in consideration how we would feel.
An email obtained by News 12 Connecticut from the State Psychiatric Security Review Board sent to the victim's family shows they'll have a chance to give a victim impact statement when Smith goes before the board next month for a periodic assessment. Frazier says she'll be there to to say she doesn't feel safe.
So let's put yourself into these people's shoes just for a second here. For anybody that has any kind of rational thinking or empathy at all, let's just put into your eyes or your shoes into this person's situation here. Your brother-in-law or your family member was killed, and then he was eaten. All right, part of him was actually eaten. All right, and then you are told that he's going to be put away for. He's not going to go to jail. He's not going to go to jail, but he will be spending 60 years in a psychiatric ward. Right, a psychiatric ward. Only to find out that he was only in there for not even a quarter of it, but for 10 years. And then he was released, and they go out and say that he's been fully rehabilitated, right? To medications that quell the voices in his head. Yeah, because, that's something that is fine, because, just the voices in his head, makes it he should be released. And these people are in fear. And, of course, we all know that in this time that it says here that they would give these people, the victims, a hearing just be scheduled that was on February 21st, 2025. And of course, that didn't seem to go through, right? That didn't really go through, or at least it's still pending, or maybe something's going on here, because currently it's February 24th, 2025, and it seems like this does not go through. It doesn't seem they grant this person any type of leniency or whatever. They kind of just ignored the people there. And, that's what's going on here. This person obviously didn't want to do this, and this would have been fine if this person was jailed or whatever, but it doesn't matter, because this person is still allowed to go free. He's still allowed to do whatever the heck he wants, and that is a problem here. And I don't know what else to tell you, but why are we letting out a person that has murdered someone and also ate someone? I'm baffled by this insanity here. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but this is insane.
But it's hard. It's hard not knowing if this man's going to pop up at our door, if he's going to pop up back on Brook Street. Is he going to take the ankle monitor off? We don't know, and it's something we have to think about.
More than a decade after the brutal killing of her loved one, Frazier with a message for the man who took his life.
You have to go back and do your time. My family is scared. I'm scared.
In Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12, Connecticut.
So this woman here is pleading for this person to go back and do his time, all right? To actually go and, perhaps, stay in the psychiatric ward a bit longer. Or maybe better yet, probably go stay in jail. So that way, you can't harm me or the rest of my family. And she should actually feel a bit of fear, because, when he gets out and has a bit more freedom, and then he does that, and he's going to be in a group home, it is fair that he may come back and go and murder one of her other family members, or etc., for revenge for putting him in jail. So I can understand onto why these people would be terrified and scared of this person going to go and do this and breaking their ankle monitor or what have you, because it's rightfully so that it's only been 10 years. He's supposed to be in there for 60. He didn't spend a quarter of his time, and the Connecticut Psychiatric Security Board thinks it's okay that he should be released, and he's been fully rehabilitated. Right. This is coming about. This is coming from a leftist state, by the way, that is likes to release criminals early. And of course, it also says this said the goal of a conditional release is rehabilitation, not punishment, for those who found not guilty by reason of insanity. But he was found guilty by reason of insanity. But of course, boy, what are we doing here? What is this? What is Connecticut? What is Connecticut? So again, this family have to live in terror because they think that, this person should just be let out for, after murdering their one of their family members and eating them. Yeah, this is what we are at. This is where we're at. This is where Connecticut comes from to where it comes to justice. They'll release a man that has murdered someone and ate them, and then they think he's rehabilitated after 10 years, after such thing, and then let him just walk the streets. Don't even let him spend a quarter of his time in jail. or in the psychiatric ward. This is insane. This is insane. It feels like this is like another episode of Dr. House where they're just like, oh, well, we're just gonna release him now. He's completely fine. What are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? This is insane. This is insanity. I don't know what they're doing. Connecticut, you're failing your people. And don't be surprised when this guy goes out and commits another heinous crime, and then nobody of the politicians, none of the judges are going to be blamed for this because we let out a actual animal, literal animal, outside of the psychiatric ward into the public, and we're expecting this person to not cause any harm. Yeah, we're expecting good things from this, right? All right. Well, how about this? How will we have this deal? When he does eventually go out and, finally, goes out and kills someone again and eats them again. When he does this next time, how about we have the judge be charged as well for releasing this person early out on bail? Because, we probably should end up doing that. That might be a good idea. And anybody else that's co-signed and saying this was okay should probably also, put in jail as well. Because, they're part of the problem. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Russ, guys, share. As always, take care.
Burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your